The Uncutt Podcast.
It's the best intro in podcast today with the best hosts in podcast today and also Robbie Cutthroat. It's your boy, the ace, Nick White, down there at the bottom. Love Panda 24x48. You know him as Matt Minnick. We love him. He's going to leave us, but it's fine. We love him still.
Hey. That's for a different episode. We're not going there right now.
That's a story for another time. In the
Positive vibes only.
Robbie, how are you? You good?
Dude, you've
already blown your spot. So
no. I do it on my time.
Wow,
really?
You're gonna break those glasses. I swear to God. And when you do it, I'm gonna laugh so
Fans
hard.
get an extra one.
Oh my God!
What was with the vinegar strokes pump?
What?
Just.
Arthritis
is kicking in, old man.
Stiff. I've been working too hard. Watched 25 hours of wrestling since Saturday.
I've watched 128 hours of wrestling over the last 4 days. I don't even know how that's possible.
I've watched like 13 hours of Pat McAfee, just his match with Austin Theory on repeat.
Oh my God, dude!
What a great match!
Watch our show. Quit sucking his dick.
No, dude, like real shit. How good of a match was that, though?
It was really.
Him and Theory tore it down.
So good.
I got a question.
I've said this. I said it in our group chat. I'm going to say it where people can hear it, and I want to hear what people have to say. You know, in the comments on YouTube, DM us whatever she got. I think that was one of the 3 best WrestleManias of all time. That night, in the moment, the adrenaline was running, so I said it was the best. You got your X7 and your 30, but I am hard pressed to say it's not right there, purely because the expectations were so low.
Yeah.
And then every match except for Charlotte's shitty ass versus Ronda Rousey delivered.
No, what was your problem? What was your problem with that match?
Charlotte is a liberty-taking piece of shit.
That was frank.
Charlotte. Okay. This is my belief about Ronda Rousey. Oh my God, I'm going to kick our guest off the show. Ronda Rousey, I think, holds back a lot, and it translates as she's not trying her hardest. I think if she did try her hardest, she'd knock the fuck out of people, and they wouldn't want to take it.
Yeah.
And Charlotte, I think it's a 2-pronged thing. I think part of her wants Ronda to give her that because she thinks she's a bad enough bitch to take it. And then part of her knows Ronda's not going to hit her as hard as she can. So she's like, well, I'm going to go out and make myself look tougher than Ronda Rousey. And I'm going to punch her directly in the face, fucking shoot style. And, you know, I'm going to look like I'm better than Ronda Rousey. When in reality, Ronda could snap her arm like a twig if she so felt the need. So go back. There's one spot. I talked about it on TikTok. There's one spot in particular in that match. And they replayed it because they're assholes. Where she swings a clothesline. And we've talked to past guests. I'm not going to name names, but after the show, we've talked to them about certain moves and their execution of them.
Yep.
You know who I'm talking about, Roberto.
Yeah.
And we talked about clotheslines. And clotheslines, when they're hit safely, they can sound like $1,000,000, but they go basically right here. Sorry to give away the 4th wall. They go right across the chest, and you swing the arm around, and it looks like you kill somebody. She instead decided to take the entire meat of her manly fucking arm and just clock Ronda in the face as hard as she could. And I can't respect somebody that does that.
Now,
I already think she's terrible going into that match. I lost any modicum of respect after that.
But being devil's advocate, though, you know, Ronda Rousey, great UFC women's champion, right? She's got this reputation, and she's in a fight with Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Doesn't Charlotte Flair kind of like owe it to the fans and to Ronda to give it everything she's got?
No, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to respond to that. She doesn't. You can do that without being reckless. You can have a great match and look like you're killing somebody without actually attempting it.
That
look at some of the matches we saw this weekend. Okay, let's look at the penultimate example of you don't have to kill somebody for it to look like a fight. And it happened 2 matches later. Kevin Owens and Steve Austin. Here's a guy with a fucked up neck, fucked up knees, fucked up back, taking suplexes on the floor. They're throwing fucking haymakers. It looks like a legitimate brawl is happening. Now, everyone's smart enough to know that they're not trying to kill. They're not legitimately trying to kill each other, but the suspension of disbelief is there where you're like, and some of that looked a little snug. Some of those looked a little, a couple Idaho potatoes thrown in there. But it's not just, in real time, I'm watching it. I've got 5 or 6 people I'm watching WrestleMania Night 1 with. And all of us at the same time are like, oh, why did she hit her like that? And then they play the replay and it's worse in slow motion. Charlotte is the most overrated performer in the industry today.
Wow.
Bar none.
Whoa. He hates, ladies and gentlemen, he hates Bret Hart and Charlotte Flair.
I don't hate Bret Hart. I just think Shawn was better. I think Bret is overrated.
Which translates to you hate Bret Hart.
Okay, maybe
Sledge would agree with me.
Sledge would be here kicking my ass right now. Anyway,
Franchise.
We're not here to talk about Charlotte Flair, even though we just did it for 5 minutes. Panda's down there looking uncomfortable as fuck, like he used to date Charlotte or something. I don't know.
Yeah, do you got any thoughts on this?
I got a couple. Robbie, you were completely wrong with your approach because Nick's actually kind of right. The couple things I want to piggyback with what Nick's right on here. How do you end the match with that boot like that? That forearm shot, like you said, that was rough.
Gnarly.
And Ric Flair sitting there saying that Ronda versus Charlotte was the greatest women's match of all time when it wasn't even the greatest women's match on that card.
Yeah.
Okay, now that one, you're a dad. I'm not
going to lie to myself at the end of the day. I'm going to
be
proud of
not
my
Ric
daughter.
Flair.
I'm also, I would say this is the greatest accomplishment of my daughter's career. And I couldn't be prouder as a father. This is the greatest women's match.
Well, it's not like Rick knows what, holding back or consent are. So,
or he knows what helicopters are, though.
Helicopter. Anyway. All right. Well, now we've made a helicopter reference. But, coming off the heels of WrestleMania, we're going into this weekend, Ruggedmania from Rugged Pro Wrestling. And this is the first edition. And this is going to be a monthly thing, so get used to it. If you don't like it, oh well, this is not going to be the episodes for you. But anyway, promotions you may know. Tonight, we're talking about Rugged Pro Wrestling out of Nebraska with their ring announcer, friend of mine, friend of yours, friend of everybody's, Matthew Hayden.
It's midnight. You know what that means? Yeah. Can I talk my shit now? I was playing 2-hand touch, fuck it up, just a hit now. When I hit the road, do a show, hit a lick, then I skip town. Run up in the spot, no dance, and I make them all get down. Boy, you better sit down. Yeah. Ain't nothing fancy, I'm still broke. Cross town like Yancey, I will though. Say I'm in a spot they would kill for. I could put them in the wheel and they still won't. I could probably get a deal with Coke if I wasn't rapping about the past back dealing dope. Got the offer and it's real low. Over 1 mil and it's still low. They all corporate, they all cute in suits. They on bullshit with all that poop to scoop. My shit going up, I go roof to roof. They don't like that, they want mute the truth. They gon' switch sides.
Yeah.
That boy TJ Vegas.
Shout out to TJ Vegas.
That boy don't play.
Yo, that intro slapped.
Dude, that song, he hit me up after. He was like, there was one clip I added. I don't even remember which one he told me it was. He's like, there was one clip I added just so I could get that last bar in. And I was like, I don't even care. That thing was so clean. Matthew, my boy, you're my favorite. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. Like, I really appreciate it. Like, seriously, I can't even thank you guys enough for bringing me on. So,
and you're totally welcome.
It's going to be good times. Like I said, this is going to be kind of like a thing we're going to do once a month. I mean, we talk GCW so much and ICW no holds barred. A lot of the big name indies like we've covered. We've had champions on. Oh, speaking of champions, shout out to our first guest, John Wayne Murdoch, for winning the GCW Ultraviolent Deathmatch title this past weekend. That's my boy. Love you, pal. So we're going to talk about some like lesser known feds. I've got a couple people in Tennessee lined up, but I figured you'd be the first one to be on. You're used to this format. We've played this game before in a past life. So, you know, I've known you for what, like 2.5 years now?
Yeah, something like that. 3 years, I think.
Yeah, probably 3 years.
Getting close.
So what was like your introduction to the business? What was the moment you knew you wanted to be in the business, and how did you go about getting in?
Well, so my introduction to the business, I guess, first of all, was when I was 5 years old. I would sit on my grandfather's floor, my great-grandfather's floor, and we would watch, I believe at that time it was called WWE Superstars or something. It was hosted by Mean Gene Okerlund and Hillbilly Jim, and they were in the like production room with the screens in the background, and then it would like cut to a match or whatever. So like I was hooked at 5. Like I had all the LJN figures, like my great grandpa would buy me them every time we went to the store. So that's when I was hooked on wrestling.
So you were pretty much the LJN king is what you're telling me.
Yes, except no. Maybe. Anyways, wow. Okay. Yeah. So I've loved wrestling since I was 5. You know, I kind of thought my whole life growing up, like, man, it'd be really cool to do that. But I never really knew how to get into the business, how to do that. Like, where I grew up, it was like we didn't just have wrestling schools, and we didn't have like the means to get into the business. And I couldn't afford to buy a trampoline. So even if I wanted to put a trampoline in my backyard and wrestle with my friends, I couldn't have done it anyways. So, because I know that's how a lot of guys get started. So I just watched wrestling as a fan my whole life. I grew up in the Attitude Era and NWO and all that stuff. Fast forward to when I moved to Omaha, Nebraska, where I live now, and I started going to some local indies here. And that was really my first experience with independent wrestling, was coming to some of the shows around here. And I went to one show and I was like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I thought I loved wrestling before, but then I went and watched this indie show and I was like, what in the world is this? And then I can go talk to these guys afterwards and like actually interact with them in a way that's not like weird and like, hey, can I get your autograph? But I know you're really super busy and scary, like really famous dude, and like, I don't know, it was really cool. So like, that's it. And then, to kind of get into the business, at one of the indie shows I was at out here in Omaha, I recognized one of the kids that was reffing, and I couldn't place my finger as to how I knew the kid, but I recognized him. And so intermission comes and he comes out from the back and he's like, hey, coach. And I was like, I am so sorry. I know that I know you, but how do I know you? Well, it turns out he was a student of mine when I was a teacher, and he was a freshman in high school. Mind you, this was 6-7 years before that. He was a freshman in high school. And that's how I knew him. And so we got to talking, stayed in touch. He moved down to Texas and did some training down in Texas, and then has since moved out to California. He wrestles under the name of Austin Ames out in California. And I actually helped him. We can get into that later, but I actually helped him design his most recent shirt that's on ProWrestlingTees.com with the help of another mutual friend of ours.
With the cheap plugs.
Yeah, right. Anyways, so I stayed in touch with him. He then was friends with somebody else from the area who had their own company called Liberty Wrestling Entertainment. And Austin actually reached out to me at one point, was like, hey, I think it'd be cool to bring you in. Like, I know you're a huge fan, like this is the idea that I have. Like, what do you think? And I was like, I mean, if they're willing to give me a shot, I'm down. So that's kind of how I got in, was through Austin,
Yeah. Well, seeing it, how I've known you, I know you're a good speaker. Breaking into the business and being a ring announcer, what in your background, like, do you think prepared you for that kind of role?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person. I mean, I used to be a teacher, So it was being in front of a group and in front of a crowd is really kind of natural to me, which is really weird because in high school, like I was the kid who was like in the front of the class with my notes like this for speech class. And I was like this the whole time. Like to the point where every speech I would give, my teacher would like write notes. Stop shaking.
Leg shaking and shit.
Calm down. No, like I would get to the point where my note cards were shaking so bad that I couldn't read them. Like that's how nervous I would get. We did a speech in speech class my sophomore year of high school, and it was a radio speech. So I was sitting at a table with a microphone similar to the one I have right here, with the curtain closed. I couldn't see anybody. I got an A+.
That's the stuff right there.
So I've had a knack. I have a knack for like entertaining, and I guess my friends would probably say I'm like the life of the party sometimes, where like if it's kind of a lull, I'll just like jump in and start doing random movie quotes or something funny to kind of liven things up. So I don't have any trouble talking in front of a group of people. So
this is going to be kind of a little inside baseball because out of the four of us, you and I have probably talked the least. Let's be honest, Matt. We're friends, but we kind of just sit on opposite ends, but we know each other. But with your re-announcing, this is where the kind of inside baseball joke comes in that we're all going to kind of, I know Maglio's going to get a little smile out of this. Build me the best ring announcer that you try to base yourself off of, using creativity, wordplay, and delivery.
Yeah,
I told you to get a quirk out of you.
Well, and it gets a laugh out of me because this guy right here knows how much I hate wordplay.
It does.
It drives me nuts. No, like I did another podcast a while back, and somebody asked me, like, who do you model yourself after, or like what, like who do you try to emulate or whatever? And this is going to sound cliche, but no one. Like, I don't want to be the guy that goes out there and they're like, oh, he sounds like Justin Roberts. Like, for example, if we have a John, like, a John on our roster, right? Like, if I'm like, Gian, like, obviously I'm trying to be, like Justin Roberts, right? Where I try to kind of make it my own thing, So like when I'm announcing, for example, like we have a guy, we'll get to this at some point, but we have a guy named the Big Bad Bull Angus Kaiser who wrestles for Rugged Pro, right? And so my thing is I try to emphasize things where I can't sound like the Big Bad Bull Angus Kaiser, And I do the whole like, this match is scheduled for one fall, and then I pause and let the crowd say one fall because I'm a mark for that. And I just think that's cool when you get the crowd involved in that, right? Like I just think that's a thing, and I think it's really cool. And so I don't really try to model myself after anyone in particular, but like some of my favorites, I was a huge Dave Penzer guy as a kid. Because let me
pause you. Let me change the question here.
Okay.
Build me the dream announcer of using Bobby Heenan, Ventura, Vince, Lawler, JR, using those three judging statements that we were just talking about. Build me the perfect announcer. Even you wouldn't base yourself off it, but what do you think the best tendencies of the perfect announcer would be?
I mean, okay, so
Michael Buffer doesn't count.
Part Pat McAfee. Because of the not for any other reason other than the passion that the guy shows. Okay. Part Mike Tenay, because he had so much knowledge that it was unbelievable and it was amazing. And part Dave Penzer, because Dave Penzer was just that old school WCW announcer that it was like when he talked, he commanded a room. You know what I mean? Like he just like that would be my ideal, like if I was doing a ring announcer thing, like. And I try to show my passion every time I'm out there. Like, I'm not shy about smiling. I'm not shy about laughing at myself if I do something stupid. My second show in, I almost tripped coming into the ring. Like, literally, it was my third time climbing into a ring ever, like through a rope, and I almost fell down. And I laughed at myself. Like, if you can't laugh at yourself and have a good time, like, what are you doing, So, yeah, I mean, and again, I know you're a big Pat McAfee guy, but, like, I love everything.
Never even heard of him, really.
I love everything about what that guy does and everything that they're allowing him to do as an announcer.
Yeah.
So, Rugged Pro Wrestling, your home base.
Yes, sir.
First time watcher. I've never seen it before. What do I need to know? Who are the champions? Who are your main stars? What are your big storylines?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got a huge show coming up this weekend. Ruggedmania 2022, the end of an era. It's gonna be wild. But you know, our champions right now our top champion is vacated right now. Our former champion had to vacate the title due to personal reasons and an illness, just health reasons, things like that. Our secondary title is called the Rugged Pro Heritage Championship. It's currently held by the Big Bad Bull, Angus Kaiser, 450-pound dude who's absolutely everything that you think he is. If you look him up on social media, you look him up on Facebook, Twitter, he is everything that you think the Big Bad Bull looks like is what he looks like. Just a huge dude, massive, and he scares me, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of a big dude myself. And then our tag team champions are the Stud Club, Aaron Von Baron and Cole Cannon, and yeah, they're
I love the
wrestling names.
They're part of the Stud Club, and then their manager is a guy named Jason Prentice, and then they have a couple other members in their group. They won the tag titles back at Blood in the Water back in October, so that that was when they won the titles. And then kind of some big storylines. Really, there's a huge match right now coming up at Mania, and it's actually it's called the Midwest Bull Rope match. So think bull rope match plus dog collar match, but without the touching the four corners. More of a two big huge dudes. Okay, so you've got trying to find my notes here. I apologize. You've got the Kingpin, big Bam Bam Bundy, who Nick is kind of down from your area, Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee area.
Yeah, I've seen some shows with him.
Mid-South used to go.
Prentice brought rest in peace, but
yeah,
seen him up in the Nashville area for sure.
Yeah, used to go by the Mid-South Prodigy, and he's 365 pounds, and he's facing off against the 400-pound Angus Kaiser for the Rugged Pro Heritage Championship.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I'm sorry. I hate to be this guy, but you're telling me there's gonna be
big meaty man slapping meat.
Yes, there is. Yes.
I finally got to use that in context.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so, I mean,
he did the thing.
So you got those two monsters. I mean, they're both, I mean, I'm about 6'1". They're probably both about my height, 365 and 400 respectively. I mean, they are two massive individuals, probably two of the biggest dudes I've ever seen in my whole life. And I've seen the Big Show in person. Been like 10 feet away from him. So they're two of the biggest dudes I've ever seen. And just absolute like monsters, and they're going to tear it up, and it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see it, to be honest with you. I'm really looking forward to that match. But we've got another guy in the card that you guys have probably heard of. His name is the front man, Jaw C.
A dude is so good. Just some of the best promo skills I've heard in so long, and can turn a crowd. I mean, however he wants them to feel, he can be the biggest baby face or biggest heel on a show.
I watched that dude.
You sent me the card. I legitimately was like, oh, okay. I know some of these people, but I definitely know Josh.
Yeah. So I literally watched him at the last show that he competed at for us go from exactly what you said, from the coming out, the fans were yelling and cheering his name and chanting Jossie, to like 180, like, I'm the bad guy, I'm kicking this guy's ass, you guys need to stop cheering. Like that guy's and the fact that guy's had a cup of coffee with AEW multiple times and they still haven't signed him just blows my mind. Like, if I was Impact Wrestling, I'd be all over that guy right now.
Yeah, dude, that's the craziest part about this business right now. Like,
who makes it and who doesn't.
There's such a deep talent pool in pro wrestling that, there's, let's say 80, 90 guys in AEW. There's probably 100 in WWE that are, featured on TV.
Sure.
Not even counting the people that are at the PC. Impact's probably got 50. And there's still, I would say 50. There's probably 50 on the roster, give or
You're
take.
highballing a little bit with two
Maybe
of those,
40,
but we'll
whatever.
talk about that
But-
later.
There's such a deep fucking talent pool that there's another 200, probably 300 dudes underneath that where you're like, why the fuck is this guy not one of those people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like people we've had on the show, like Anthony Henry, who is now on AEW damn near every week, teaming with friend of the show, JD Drake. Love you, buddy. Anybody who hasn't seen JD Drake on Twitter today, killing Shoddy Horror, the rapper, is failing themselves.
Do you want to talk? Okay, can I go? You want to talk about a guy who is like, so like I'm a huge Keith Lee fan, but like I watch JD Drake and I'm like, holy hell. Like that guy, just like Keith Lee, like how do they do that stuff for their size? And they're, you know, like it's insane. And I love every second of it because it gives average dudes like me who are only good enough to be ring announcers hope that maybe someday.
Oh, dude.
I can't wait to see him in 2 months.
Oh man.
God, I'm so excited to see Drake.
He's a
Yeah.
small guy.
I was bummed. I was trying to get the opportunity to connect with him when he was in Minneapolis when I went up to Full Gear and I couldn't make it work.
Yeah. He was here in Nashville and texted me like right before the show. He's like, I'm here with my old lady, but we're going out tonight, so I can't really hang out. But I wanted to let you know I was in town. Love you. And I was like, I mean, it's like when your girlfriend's like, hey, I'm free tonight. But I think I'm just gonna wash my hair. You know? Like
Something
like
like that.
you're here and you're 30 minutes from me, but I know exactly where the restaurant is they went to. He told me. I'm like, you're right down the road. I hop
You
on
could have just
Broward Parkway and I'm
randomly
there.
appeared.
I was gonna say you could have just shown up. Like,
Showing up.
Yeah, like, oh,
What
what's
am I, a
the
stalker?
odds?
Yeah, what are the odds that you told me?
I'm just here picking up this order. Happened to see you.
Weird.
hey,
Is
wifey.
this chair available? Oh, look at that. Oh, hey, oh, the wife's with me too. Let's just
Hey,
have
wifey, we need to go out to dinner. Yeah, hey, wifey,
Yeah,
let's go
like-
out to dinner at this
She
specific
probably would
restaurant.
have done it. She loves James.
She
You
would have
just-
done it.
You just said something about you're only you're only available to be a weekly ring announcer. And that was actually the question I was going to ask. Fits with that perfectly.
Yeah.
I know you're an avid wrestling fan. I know you're a above average wrestling fan. You're a super fan.
Yeah.
I know probably like me, you would take any opportunity to break into the business, whether it was maybe help him put the ring up, or we need a referee, or we need a guy to jump into the ring or whatever. So how content are you with this role that you're on?
I mean, I never in my life would have imagined being a ring announcer or involved in the business in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so much of a mark that my favorite thing is the day of a show, showing up to the show and just sitting in the locker room area and watching the guys talk through their matches. Like, that's how much of a mark I am.
just breathing.
And it's so cool to see
No.
that. Like,
Hold on.
That's-
I'm gonna pause you. I'm 18 years deep in the indie game. I was at a show, a week ago Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I hung out in the locker room. I listened to everybody talk out their shit. And then me and Golden Boy Greg Anthony, future guest of the show. Anyway.
I was going to say, you better have been pandering.
Oh, dude, I got like 4 guest booked. It's awesome. No, 3, and then I'm working on 4. Me, Golden Boy Greg Anthony, sat there at the monitor in the back the rest of the night and just watched every match and broke shit down, and like, there's nothing better,
yeah.
especially once you're on the inside, than breaking down matches with other people.
And so I still have that weirdness because I've literally announced 3 shows. So I still have that weird thing where I'm like, like I come in and I'm one of the boys, but I'm not really one of, you know what I mean? Like, you guys understand what I'm saying with that? Like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm one of the boys, but like, I can't just call one of those guns and be like, yo, I need to ride with you guys to the show this week. Like, I'm not there yet. I know I will be hopefully eventually, but I just like, I try not to be weird about it, but like, I literally just sit back and I'm just like, okay, so that's how people put matches together. Like, that's really cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause you always sit there and
I will always say one of my favorite memories of being on the Indies is I went to IWA Mid-South like 6-7 years ago, and Jimmy Jacobs was working Ace Perry in a railroad spike on a pole match. And just hearing Jimmy Jacobs like, okay, here's what we're going to do. and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And then if this doesn't work, this was the best part, because you always hear like all these young guys, and they're like, we're going to do all of these spots, and we're going to do in this order. And Jimmy was like, okay, but if this doesn't get over, we're going to do this. So you need to be ready. And I was like, oh my God, he's planning in case he fails even. This is beautiful.
Layers.
There's levels to this shit, boys.
And I will tell you, one of the coolest things that happened to me is one of our guys who, there's another big match I'd love to chat about at some point here for Ruggedmania coming up. But one of the guys who I've been watching as a fan here in Omaha for a long time, his name is he goes by Donnie Pepper Cricket in some places, but his name is Brandon Juarez. But you probably heard of him more as Donnie Pepper Cricket. But he came to me after the last Rugged show, and he was like, "I have some advice for you," and I was like, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "Stop using your phone, get note cards." Because when I first started, I said to Austin, I go like, what do you like, because I want to be the guy that like, hey, I want you to come back. Like, so I want to please the promoter. Right. So I'm like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, just use your phone. Like, I'm fine with using your phone, whatever. So I literally would type out my announcing stuff on a Google Doc, and then I'd pull it up on my phone, and I'd be holding the phone while I'm holding the microphone, and I agreed, like, it kind of looked a little tacky or whatever, because I was like looking at, whatever. So Brandon was like, hey, you know what? Use note cards, get rid of the phone. So I actually went this time and I like printed out note cards for the show for Ruggedmania. And yeah.
I think it's a good look. I think like there's so many schools of thought, because like, I mean, when I was, because I'd done some ring announcing too, mostly did the manager stuff, but like when I was ring announcing, it was always like the goal to try to have as much memorized as possible.
Right.
And so like, we've had MLJ on, and MLJ fucking, I've seen that dude do 8-man scrambles and know everybody's stats. And I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Everybody's stats and all 7 of their nicknames and all this shit. But I think the way you're doing it with the note cards is definitely like that old school, like kind of cool vibe to the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's what I grew up with.
And you'll see the tablets. I think the phone is like the weird, like, middle child, and that's why people don't look at it as much. I think if you have the tablet, it's like, oh well, this is professional, it's new school,
right?
But shit, dude, I'm a fan of note cards. Fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is too,
it's foolproof.
What works for you the best.
It's foolproof.
Yeah. And part of it for me too is like I want to look professional. I mean, I wear a suit when I'm out there with our colors are orange and black. So I went out and bought an orange dress shirt and a black tie, and I wear my suit and my tie and my shirt or whatever. But like, I want to look professional, and like a guy like him who's been doing it, I think 20 years or so, like that, like he could have just like never said a word to me, because he knows how much of a fan I am. Like, he knows I'm a big fan of like him and people from the area or whatever. And he he knows me from that aspect. He could have just been like, you know what? I'm going to let this guy sink or swim on his own, but he took the time to sit there with me and go, hey, this is my advice for you. This is what I think you should do. And so I wanted to, number one, honor him. And number two, I agree with you. Like, I think note cards are a good thing. Eventually I won't need the note cards as much, because I will have them. But again, this, Saturday is going to be my 4th show total with them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like you're describing this like it is a job. It's a job, a dream job that you might have never thought you would have the opportunity to get. But we asked this to other wrestling personalities during this show. Wrestling is a job, and in every job that we have, there's a part that makes it suck. So just in this initial phase of your career, is there anything that you see as like something that's going to be a thorn in your side, or a pet peeve, or something that you don't like? Anything?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I am a working class guy. I think for me, the hardest thing is Marshalltown, Iowa, which is where we're located out of, is about 3 hours from where I live.
Distance.
And it's just driving there. I can't take my son right now because he's at the age where he can't really just kind of come and enjoy the show without having somebody there to, whatever, like sit with him and whatever. And I can't really do that. And he'll want to run up into the ring and see me, because I would love to bring him with me and just, have him interact with the show and all that. Cause he loves wrestling, and like he has reignited my love for the sport. tenfold. It's awesome watching him watch wrestling. But I think right now that's the only thing, and it's not going to hinder me from continuing to do it. It's just like I live in Omaha, and a lot of their shows are either in central Iowa or eastern Iowa. So some of the shows are like 5 hours away. So it's really tough for me to be able to drive that far, you know. And you know, when I got into this, the first thing my wife said was, well, if they're going to pay you enough to cover your gas, then yeah, that's fine. Because we don't have a lot of money and, you know, can't afford a bunch of stuff. So
women, they always got to be the reality check.
Nah, I mean, I love my wife and she's super supportive.
I can hear my wife saying the same thing. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to tell you now, there's going to be a point where you're going to realize, now maybe they are. I'm not going to ask what your pay scale is, but there's going to be a point where you're just going to be like, look, we're taking some losses this month. So.
Right. Yeah.
There was a lot of months where that one had to keep me in check. Like, you can't drive to Indiana for free. What is wrong with you?
You better use that notepad that you got there and write down
the gas bill.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that because like my mom actually brought that up is when my mom found out, because like my mom lives about 30 minutes from here, super close to my mom. I love my mom. She's awesome. She does a lot of stuff with us and the kids or whatever. But that was like one of the things my mom brought up. She's like, so like, are they paying you? And I was like, yeah, they're, you know, it's basically covering my gas. Well, you should be getting something for it. I'm like, I'm getting money for gas. I was like, it's not about that for me, Mom. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, Mom, when did I start watching wrestling? And then she kind of thought about it because it was her grandpa who I would watch wrestling with. And she's like, oh yeah, like you really have loved it your whole life. And I was like, yeah. And now I get to work in the business. Like I get to do this. Like I'm given the privilege of being a ring announcer for a wrestling company. Like I still can't even, like, I'm marking out thinking about it.
And it's an investment too. I mean, it's like you're getting paid in experience. I mean,
right. Yeah. And I know that there will be opportunities down the line for other things that possibly Austin might have in line for me later, because we've talked about it a little bit, but yeah.
What we got, like a bagel and some lox over there? What are you eating?
What's going on here, franchise?
It was your Starburst. I blame you.
Look, man, these jelly beans are the shit. I'm sorry,
dude. So it's an everything bagel with peanut butter on it. I'm out of whipped cream cheese, and I'm not gonna just eat it plain. So whatever.
Yeah,
he's already given up on us. Just so everybody knows.
He's like, fuck them.
I do what I want. Unblocked me, so I'm just doing whatever I want now.
He does it.
So man, let's get into Ruggedmania.
Yeah,
you sent me the card. I've been keeping up on it.
Yeah,
there's one thing that like has my eye, because I love a good ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something earlier about the title being vacant, and I think I'm going to tie it in with what I'm seeing here. Okay. We got the Rise to the Top ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
Am I of the correct impression that this is very Money in the Bank-esque?
Yeah, it is. So the Rise to the Top ladder match is basically they take 6 of the this year's is a little different because it's a mix of like local veterans and up and coming guys, but it's basically a Money in the Bank style ladder match where the winner gets to choose a championship match of their choosing somewhere down the line. So again, they're going to climb a ladder, they're going to get a briefcase, and then that briefcase entitles them to whatever championship they want to contend for down the line, whether that be the Rugged Pro Tag Team Championships, the Heritage Championship, or the currently vacant Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, that's exactly what the Rise to the Top ladder match is.
And who all's in that match, man?
Yeah, so we got the last one left, Keaton Stoneburner. He's a newer guy, really up and coming guy. Actually trained at the Forge, which is the Rugged Pro Academy there. We got a guy named Double Barrel Bogat.
That's a great name.
This is the best indie names.
Yeah, isn't it?
Ever.
Listen to this one. He used to be not in Rugged, but in a local place here. He used to be part of a group called Guns and Beer.
That's just money,
right?
That's
right?
just t-shirts a go-go.
Right? Yep. I wish I could have gotten one, but I didn't get one. So I digress. We got the All-Star Clay Cooper, another local guy out of Monroe, Iowa. We got the time traveler Tyler Jones. He's had many gimmicks, but his best one is probably this time traveler one. And then we've got the Irish juggernaut Jameson McGregor. And he's exactly what you think he is. This is his signature pose.
That makes sense.
And he's got the long red beard, like he's got the long beard.
I feel like we saw him in the hype video earlier.
You did. He was in the hype video. Yeah. Really awesome wrestler. And then last but not least, we got a guy named Zeke Dynamics. Zeke Dynamics. So out of the Chicago area.
I just want to come to this show just to hear the names again.
Right?
Exactly.
Right?
Dude, that's what people don't realize. Sometimes a good name is all you need.
Oh man, we got
enough to get people in the door.
Yeah,
let me ask you something, Matt. And this is this Matt, not that Matt. Conceivably, and I'm assuming this has been addressed. If you win the thing and the heavyweight title is vacant, Matthew.
Yeah.
I have no inside information on anything to do
That's
with
my boy.
With the heavyweight title.
K5, baby.
I have no idea about what they're doing with that. No inside information to share at this time on the heavyweight championship. So yeah, conceivably they would challenge vacant, but I can't answer that question, to be honest.
Vacant's been undefeated for decades. Nobody should ever go against Vacant.
He's like my favorite wrestler of all time, I think.
He's the GOAT. He really is.
Sting is close second.
Well, I got kind of piggybacking off that again, like really unique names, cool names, dude. Like what was that double barrel?
Yeah.
Bogot.
Double barrel Bogot. Yeah.
I'm going to remember that one. But watching the video that TJ Vegas made, shout out again.
Yeah. TJ Vegas is the dude.
You know, when you think of a lot of these indie groups, you think of kind of like Spike Dudley guys or real big behemoth guys, redneck guys. It looked like there were a lot of real like solid athletes.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some really solid guys. We got a guy who came in a few months ago. His name is Ray XI, who actually started his wrestling career over in Korea. He wrestled in South Korea. That's where he started his career. He's a military guy, so he was over there for a while. He's amazing. He does a lot of the flippy stuff and that kind of thing. We've got a lot of fun guys and gals on the roster. Honestly, this Ruggedmania was the first show that I've been a part of that's had women featured in matches on it. So that's really cool to me, like giving the ladies a chance. But yeah, I mean, we've got some really, really great, talented guys and gals that are going to be on this show on Saturday.
So tell us about the women's match, man.
So there's actually a triple threat match. It is featuring another person that you guys have probably heard of, Blair Onyx. Yep. She's done some stuff on AEW and then around the Midwest and maybe a little bit in the South. I'm not 100% sure. Excellent wrestler. I've only seen her a couple of times on video. I've never seen her in person. So looking forward to that. We have Russell O'Dare, which I don't know much about, from a newcomer to Rugged Pro. And then we have a female by the name of Valentina Loca. She's another Midwest person that you may have heard of before. She does some Midwestern places, but she's really fun to watch. She's a Latina, so she's very hip with her Latino roots, and just a fun person to watch. And just it's going to be great. Blair Onyx really is fun because she actually doesn't shy away from fighting the guys if she needs to. So
nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So if I am in the Omaha area and I see a poster, but I want to know, what do you think is going to be the match of the night? What would you recommend is going to be, hey, you're going to want to make sure that you're not in the line getting a beer at this time. What's going to be the one that wants to steal the show?
Yeah. So if you're in the Marshalltown, Iowa area, which is where the show's taking place.
Attaboy, my bad on that one.
That's my boy.
No worries. No worries.
I blame the bagel.
No worries. I blame the peanut butter on the bagel.
I don't have whipped cream cheese right now.
I blame Pat McAfee.
There's peanut butter on the roof of his mouth right now. He's like a dog. He's just confused.
Right. I would say, I mean, honestly, like as much as I love a good ladder match too, Nick, I would say there's 2 matches that I'm not missing. Maybe even 3 that I'm not missing if I'm at this show. One is the Midwest bull rope match, because I mean, how often do you get 2 guys that are that size in a ring where they're 8 feet apart from each other and they can't get much farther than that? Right?
Spectacle of that.
Dude, that is going to be a barn burner's not the right word, but it's going to be something, man.
Stupendous.
Yeah, no, that's dumb. The other one that I think that I would like that I would not want to miss out on is the Marshalltown street fight between not your friend Brandon Juarez and Chris Manning.
I like that.
So,
I like
right?
that.
And so the story behind it is that Chris Manning is the photographer. Photos by Manning, does great work, does weddings, wrestling, a lot of wrestling stuff. He's done some stuff with AEW, some stuff with Wrestling Revolver, some of that stuff around here. But he is fighting Brandon Juarez, and Juarez about a month ago attacked Chris's son in the ring because he challenged him to a match. He, Chris was kind of ducking him, didn't really want to fight him, and then he went out and dropped his son in the ring, and his son basically said, "Dad, if you're not going to accept this match, then I'm going to do it." And Chris was like, "No, I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna fight for you." So you've got Brandon Juarez, big dude, 300 pounds against the Chris Manning, fighting for his family, fighting for revenge, fighting just all that energy and that pent up stuff. 2 guys that used to be friends and then just became bitter enemies in a street fight. Okay. It's going to be wild. And then on top of that, you've got the Midwest bull rope match, the big bad bull, Angus Kaiser, and the Kingpin, Bam Bam Bundy. But I mean, do you really ever want to miss a Jossie match?
Never.
I mean, really? Do you ever want to miss a Jossie match? It doesn't matter if there's 50 people or 50,000 people. That guy puts on a show.
Dude, like I said, I didn't know anything about Rugged Pro until like a month ago when me and you started talking about it. I'm fucking hyped for this show.
Dude, you got ketchup popsicles? I would love to buy one right now.
Dude, dude, Hayden, I gotta let you know, man. I knew you were gonna sell this shit. Look at you.
Well
look at
done.
You. Boy, you're my favorite. Anyway, I'm fired up right now. How many more references can I get in? Anyway, Matt,
I tell you what.
I tell you what. I forgot about that one. Matt,
you're gonna love my catchphrase when I get a chance to say it too. So
well, we're closing up shop, so you better figure out a way quick, kid.
Awesome.
So tell us where we can catch Rugged Pro. Tell us where we can see Ruggedmania.
Yeah, Rugged Pro. Rugged Pro. You can find them on Twitter, Facebook at Rugged Pro. We are on Instagram also. We have a YouTube channel, Rugged Pro Wrestling, the YouTube channel there. A lot of big things coming for Rugged Pro. Coming down the line, some changes coming with the production and just a lot of other things. Things that I'm not even privy to, but I know are coming because I've been told by the promoter who I trust more than anyone. Like Rugged Pro is literally my wrestling family. And so like I love those guys so much, and just the fact that they took a chance on me, I can't thank them enough for that. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're on all those socials. I don't know if they're on TikTok because I'm not on TikTok, but they might be. So yeah.
What's a TikTok?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never even heard of it. Oh wait, you know what? Actually, to be fair, one of us does have a TikTok.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's Robbie.
Better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it. But you wanna be bad, just beat it.
This is why I call you
You guys.
Anyway, Matthew, if you want to pop your socials too, man, feel free. I'm gonna give you stage. It's all yours. Tell the people what they want to hear.
Yeah, awesome. So you heard it here first, guys. I want to say this. It doesn't matter if you like WWE, AEW, independent wrestling. It doesn't make you any better or worse than anyone else. Wrestling is wrestling. Love it for what it is. Enjoy it. Breathe it in. Watch your 7-year-old mark out to everything that's happening on the screen like I do, and just enjoy it, because
Hell yes.
someday you're not going to be able to enjoy it as much as you might now. Okay. We have so much great wrestling. You guys can find me on Twitter at M Hayden Wrestle. You can find me on Facebook at Matthew Hayden or Matthew Hayden Wrestling Announcer, ring announcer / interviewer. And yeah, guys, just enjoy the sport and never ever be afraid to openly talk about professional wrestling, because it's amazing.
That's my boy.
Yeah, if it's possible, I love you even more after this interview than before.
Yeah, I was like, he's a great guy. I think he's a swell fella. Now look at you. You're a fucking salesman.
I have a whole new respect for you. God's honest truth. Whole new respect for you than I did even before.
This
Awesome.
is chef's kiss. This was a good one, boys.
I think he just called you a piece of shit. That's how I read that. Or I
Oh,
Well,
thought you
Nick
used to be
did it a lot. Nick says it like most of the time that you're not here. He says that, Hayden's just a big piece of shit.
I don't say that. I've never. I mean, I've
He always does this too.
I've called
Hayden's
all of
piece
these
of
guys a
shit.
piece of shit at least twice.
I don't know where he got that from, but it's something cool. I might start doing it.
Yeah, you should. It's my favorite. Anyway,
You heard it here first.
Matthew, it's been good talking to you, man. I'll holler at you down the road.
Good luck, man. Good luck.
Kill it this weekend,
You don't
boys.
need it.
I believe in
but
you.
Good luck anyway.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm truly blessed to have this platform. So,
Hey, man.
Much love, brother.
You were a good voice for the company, man. Proud of you.
thank you so much.
Very
All right,
good.
man. Y'all be good.
All right.
What a fucking killer, dude. What a
What a
great
great
guy.
guy.
I know I've liked that guy since like the first time I ever met him, dude. And
He's the nicest dude.
he deserves
on
it.
the planet,
There's a lot of guys like that we know in Facebook groups and crap, dude, that would love that, dude. He deserved it, dude. There's other people
that dude loves pro wrestling. Like, if you couldn't
like I
feel his
corrupt
fucking love for this business, you're numb.
Yeah, I feel like him. So, like, I'm meaning this with all the respect in the world to Matthew, and I mean this. But you remember there was a Rick and Morty episode where, like, they ended up having Eve. I know Old Man Winter's not going to know, but where they had full evil Morty and full evil Rick and good Morty and good Rick.
Yes.
Like, I feel like that is Matthew. He is good Morty, good Rick. And,
He's
like,
just
hanging out with
good.
us, we're evil Morty and Rick.
Oh, dude, we are the worst influences on that guy.
We really are the worst.
We can't go out in public with him. We'll just embarrass him the whole time.
Dude, we can't even go out in public now because of this dude.
I don't even see where you guys are coming from.
That's because you need glasses.
It's a cataract you have, Robbie.
Anyway, for everybody that, by the way, all apologies that this episode came out like 4 days too late. It will be up tonight. It is Tuesday. But two of us were sick, and Robbie's. Look, we just don't. We don't trust Robbie by himself.
I wasn't prepared.
Robbie was terribly ill-prepared, like he is for most things. So, but what that means for fans of the Uncut Wrestling Podcast is you get not one episode, but two this week. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for everybody. I will apologize in advance. If you are a fan of your boy, the Ace Snake White, he will not be joining you this week, as he will be on his way to Atlanta to see Action Wrestling. But
who do we got?
I got to go see my boys.
Who do
I got to go see AC Matt go one-on-one with Alex Kane this Friday night in
really?
Tyrone, Georgia. Two former guests of the Uncut Wrestling Podcast main eventing for the IWTV World Heavyweight Championship. I'm telling you, I'm not gassing up my boys or anything.
And God damn it, do I love both of those human beings so much.
They're just beautiful human beings. I am getting fucking blown up right now. What is happening? What is
Dude,
bad?
that's why I have my phone do not disturb. I hate seeing what I come out of.
Well, I'm on the computer, so my phone's just like down here.
I'd never be able to talk to you guys if that was the case, because like you'll just all the damn time.
Oh, dude, mine's been going off the whole time. Anyway, so that being said, this week for the second time, the Uncut Wrestling Podcast will be on with our guest, former WWE great Sam Houston will be the guest Thursday night on the Uncut Wrestling Podcast. You know, brother of Rock and Robin and Jake the Snake Roberts. Going to have all sorts of great stories from Sam Houston. Robbie and Matt are going to hold it down.
Sure will.
It's going to be a good one. Everybody enjoy themselves. I will speak to you when I get back from Atlanta. Week after Sam Houston, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it because we're the sponsors of the show, so I can do that. We're going to have Dylan Hales from Southern Underground Pro here April the 14th talking about the New Direction show sponsored by the Uncut Wrestling Podcast. Going to be great to have him on. So much coming up for you guys. I wish y'all knew how close this thing was, like how we were like completely ill prepared for the next 2 months to being just off the charts prepared for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Gonna be great times.
Yeah.
Gonna be
Despite all those people that have been ghosting us.
Someday we should do like an AMA about this shit.
Dude, I wish people like we love y'all and we do this for y'all and kind of for us too, because we're marks for ourselves.
Yeah.
But like if y'all knew how much work goes into this, that's worth every second. Hey, Matt's pulling shit off too. Like he's pointing at us, but Matt's pulled off some shit. Matt's pulled us out of some holes. So anyway,
I come to you when you like.
I gotta go do some business somewhere else. So for your boy, Love Panda 24x48. For I pointed the right direction, Robbie friggin' Cutthroat. Guys, I'm on fire tonight. Y'all better be prepared. I am your boy, the Ace Nick White, and Roberto.
Yo.
Clicks visit
1 and 2.
God damn it! I hate you guys.